Hi everyone, Jill Lancet here, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Sydney, Australia. Happy New Year! Today is the 1st of January 2023, and of course I'll still be writing 2022 until about June, but there you go, that's just me. Yeah, I wanted to quickly make a card for you today. It's the 1st of the year. I still cannot show you inside. See, I still can't show you inside these catalogues until the 5th of January 2023. That's this year. So sorry about that, but soon enough you'll see inside. Also, the celebration, I cannot show you inside that, but there's a little bit of a sneak peek there. Now, these will be live on my website on that day, hopefully, fingers crossed, and you'll be able to download the catalogues and look through them online. So that's something. You don't have to worry about paper. If you're a conscientious person like me about wasting stuff like that. Anyway, so today it is the 1st of January, and I'm going to show you some old and new. And when I say old, this one was released in November. It's called the Framed Florets. Now, there was some paper. Now, if there is still some in stock, you might be able to get some, but it is being discontinued. So I'm going to show you what to do when you run out of the beautiful paper that goes with your stamp set. We're also going to use one tiny little stamp out of this set, which is called the Petal Park. It pairs with this stamp set called Sentimental Park, and it is from the Regency Park suite that I featured in the last catalogue. It is a new stamp set that is in the new mini catalogue that will be coming out very, very soon. Now, there is also a fantastic joining offer at the moment when they put Celebration on, and that's Celebration is what I'm speaking of. They usually have a really good joining deal. Now, I want to tell you what that there's a couple actually, which is unusual because usually it's just one. So it will end on the 28th of February. So don't hang about because you might miss out. So the deal to join my team is you spend $169 on your starter kit. A starter kit is your choice of products, and you put them in your starter kit. You choose them when you put your order in. And normally it is like I think it's $235 worth of products. During Celebration, so from the 5th of January to the 28th of February, for your $169 joining fee, you choose $315 worth of products. I'm just going to let that sink in for a minute. Plus you get free shipping. Plus you get catalogues, you get a little business kit in there as well. You don't have to sell, you don't have to run this as a business. You can just be your own best customer and receive your 20% discount from then on. But they include that in there free. So that's a great deal. That is a really great deal. $169 to join, and you choose $315 worth of products. Now that can be from both catalogues, a combination of both catalogues. You can choose purely from the annual catalogue or vice versa from the new mini catalogue, or a combination of both. And the free shipping is great because, yeah, sometimes that can weigh down your budget. Now, there is a second and a third deal. Now, you can upgrade your starter kit from $169 and you can pay $210, but you still get $315 worth of product of your choice, again, from either or catalogue. But you also get a mini stamp and cut and emboss machine. Now, it comes with all the it comes with everything. When you open this baby, you're ready to go. You don't have to have anything else. But there is a new colour, and it's called Boho Blue. I haven't seen it in real life. This is the white one. So you can opt for the white one, which goes with any decor, or you can choose this brand spanking new Boho Blue. So that is really a good deal, because usually those sort of tools eat up your starter kit if you're starting right out. So $210, you get that plus your $315. It's a no-brainer. But not until the 5th of January, and it goes through to the 28th of February. But if you'd like to know more, I will be explaining more when the catalogue is released. Okay, so hang loose, we'll get there. Don't you worry, we'll get there. But today we're going to make a card. Now, I've been playing around with some of the new products, and I will be posting some cards for you to see. But I was a bit sad that the paper from the Fitting Florets will be leaving us. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to show you what to do when you run out of paper. Now, I've done most of this. Here's our little card. I'm not sure. I hope you can see that wink of Stella. There's some just there. It's absolutely gorgeous. I hope the light can catch it. 9 times out of 10 it doesn't. But I'm using the, as I said, a combination of stamp sets. I'm using the framed florets. Gosh, I'm using this stamp set here. I'm using So Lucky to Call You Friend. And that's all. That's all. And from this stamp set, I'm using that tiny little, I hope that's not too glary, those tiny little dots. Just needed them. Anyway, I'm going to show you what I did. So I also used this beautiful new embossing folder. It is from the new mini catalogue. Now, as I said, I've already done most of this for you, but it's called the basket. I think it's called Basket Weave, but it's gorgeous. I love it. This is going to be my new favourite. Sorry, you're going to see it all the time now. But anyway, so I've embossed that, and if you're not sure about how embossing works, there's a debossed side and an embossed side. Now, debossed means going down, embossed means going up. You pop your piece of cardstock in there and you simply line it up. There's a convenient little line here that you can line it up with and make sure it's straight. And then you run it through. It won't fit in your little mini, but the larger stamp, stamp, cut and emboss machine, gosh, that's hard to say, it will fit through there. So I've already done that, and look at that. I'm not sure if you can see the texture on that, but it's absolutely gorgeous. Let me put it in front of the light. Okay, so we're using a standard card, and it's A4 cut in half and then scored at 10.5. A little bit of a fuzzy bit on the end there. Deal with that later. The kids next door are playing in their playroom, which is just opposite my room. So you might hear some laughing, some crying. We'll see. Okay, so this piece is Pear Pizzazz. And as I said, I've embossed that with that beautiful basket weave embossing folder. Now it's 13.8 centimetres by 9.5. Okay, I'll just leave that there for a sec so you can have a look at it. And then I just took some Whisper White, and the size that I'm using is 10.5 by 6.7, and that's it. That and a scrap of Basic White. Those two pieces and a scrap of Basic White. So I'm going to show you how I stamped it, how I coloured it, and I'll finish this piece off here. So the first thing you need to do is make sure, because we're using polymer stamps, that you have your Stampin' Pierce mat underneath you. There's no cushioning on these because you can see straight through them. There's nothing to push back. And I'm using the Sahara Sand. Now this is a pretty old ink pad. It's one of the originals. Oh, before I go any further, if you need to know anything or you'd like to purchase anything, that is my website there, jilllancet.stampinup.net. That's my email address there. And until the 4th, that is the host code. But because today is the 1st, I can still quote that. So I'm just going to use little scrap, and I'm just going to show you how I achieved that patterned paper. So I'm inking up my photopolymer stamp, and just imagine this was a bigger piece, obviously, because I've cut it in half to create the two cards. I'm not sure where it meets up, but it meets up. There you go. So yeah, just inking it up, and then just turn the paper as you go around. Now, it's a good idea to start like in a corner somewhere, and I'm just pushing down and lifting up. Now, it's a very pale colour, this Sahara Sand. I chose that on purpose because I wanted to colour this in. So I'm just randomly going around. I'm just randomly stamping this, and I'm filling most of it up, as you may or may not have guessed. And by stamping it and turning it around, the pattern is not uniform, it's random. Now, this tiny wee little set of dots, and I think there's only like 5 on there, I just filled in the spaces. So I used full strength, and it doesn't matter if it goes over the flowers. Just filling it in, just taking the bare white, so to speak. Okay, done. While we've got our Stampin' mat here, I'm going to use the old olive, and I'm going to stamp the greeting on our little scrap of paper, and it just needs to be roughly as wide as the stamp itself. So yeah, those kids are getting a little bit boisterous, but hey, that's life in the suburbs. So I'm going to stamp it just to show you. I always like to have a practice go just to make sure that I've inked it up, just to make sure that it is stamping okay. Literally, I've already made a card out of it, so it should be okay. Now, I'm going to cut this out. I'm going to fussy cut. If you're a regular viewer, you know that I really don't like fussy cutting, but I'm going to get my head in the way, maybe not. But I'm just lining that up and just pushing that down. Now, I'm not smushing that down. I do not want to destroy the font on the stamp. I'm just leaving it there long enough so that the ink will actually transfer. Isn't that nice? It's a really nice font. So that's all of our stamping done. I'll just pop them over there. And I'll get into the colouring. Now, I didn't know what colour I was going to use. So I used the, where is it? I used the light granny apple green and the dark granny apple green for the leaves. I like to do those first. So I'm just using, I'll use that end. And that is the brush end. So just look, it's really, really quick. And you know what? It doesn't matter if you don't fill it all in, and it matters even less if you go over the lines, because we're looking at a sketchy drawing here. Now, the reason I'm only doing a small bit is you really don't want to sit here and watch me colour in all day. And in fact, I probably will only do a few of these just to show you just how quick it is. So with the bigger leaves, these ones here, I used the darker granny apple green, and I'll show you what I mean. So I've just gone down the middle like that. Didn't bother with the smaller ones. So I've coloured them in with the light granny apple green first. Then I've gone through and just added that dark granny apple green. And then basically I just squiggle over it. I just love that it's quick, it's easy, and it looks pretty good. And if there's some white bits on there, even better. So if I've left a bit of white, I'm not upset about that. Now, the colours of the flowers, I did the dark polished pink in the middle, and I'll show you what I mean by when I say the middle. So I went around here and I just basically did the lines that are there. I think you've seen me colour before. I think you probably know that I can't talk and colour at the same time, so we could be in a bit of trouble here, but nevertheless I'll press on. So yeah, I've just done that in the sort of in the centre of the petals. Now I'll show you what I did next. I got the light polished pink, and I just went a bit further out. And then I used some of the dark Flirty Flamingo, and it's really dark. And I just went over that middle bit. Now it adds lends a bit of like orangey to it. And you'll see in a second what's going to happen next. Oops, forgot that one. So that's those three. The dark, these ones aren't marked, but they are the polished pink, light and dark. Then I got the dark petal pink, and I just went over it. Now this one's really juicy. This is not going to be as dark as that one, because I did experiment with that one a bit. But you'll see how it sort of fades that colour there. So you could go over that again. You can go over it as many times as you like. You can also do what is called tip to tip. Now I'm not sure whether you know what tip to tip is. Take your light marker and it picks up some of the dark, and you'll see that it can blend that even more. That's what I did. That's what I did, folks, but that one's actually a bit darker. So I won't continue on with that. I'll just finish the card now. You've seen me colour before. So what I need to do, oh, and then just those little buds, I just did in the dark polished pink. Oh, I need my ink pad back, because I was just going to finish this one off and show you, and then I decided to actually do the whole thing. Now I've taken this plain white piece of cardstock and I've created my own designer series paper. Now at the end of the day, it's not perfect. I know it's not perfect because I did it, but it doesn't have to be, okay, because there's things going over the top of it. So we just need that hint of colour. We need those flowers filled in. And the next thing I did was to fussy cut. Fussy cut my greeting or whatever. Oh, here it is. Gosh. Okay, now these are really good, these little snips. And they're quite sharp, they're quite pointy, and they do get into those little nooks and crannies. So what I did was I started here, and I wanted the word friend to be stylized, but I wanted those bits to be straight, just to add a bit of interest. So you turn the paper, not the scissors, and you just keep cutting until you get around to the straight bit. Now this is where it falls down because I'm terrible at doing straight stuff. But that doesn't look too bad to me at all. Okay, so now I've got to do the other end. So I'm going to chop that off there, and I'm going to do the straight bit there, and then I'm going to go around the curvy bit. So, yep, bear with me. Now I'm trying to line up the blade with the words. So, right, that looks okay to me. So I'm going to start in with the stylized bit. And yep, those kids are in full flight, which is lovely to hear. But as I said, I'm not a fan of fussy cutting. And when we get to the end, I'm just going to cut this straight down like that, just to add another piece of interest. Okay, now, it looks a bit wonky there, so this is what I do. I just get a bone folder. This is not my usual bone folder. I turn it over and I just give it a nice little back rub. And when you turn it back over, it's straightened itself out. So that's a little tip for you. Okay, so now we can put this thing together. And look, it's that quick, it's that easy. Okay, so the first thing I want to do though is to glue this on here. And you will need liquid glue because this is textured. The tape is really not going to cut it. So we need some liquid glue. Decide which way it's going to go. And you do need I wouldn't say a gallon of this glue, but just make sure you've got enough to get into those little nooks and crannies. Okay, so it should give you a nice even border at the sizing that I've given you. And yeah, that looks pretty good to me. Very, very quick, very, very easy. Of course, you can change the colours up to suit your favourite colours. I'm now going to use my brand new Wink of Stella before I do anything else. Now, when it comes to you, it's got a black ring between here and here. You unscrew that, you take it out and you dispose of that. Screw this back on, and then you do need to prime it, and by priming it, it says push. It says push on 2 sides. So you give it a good shake, you give it a gentle push, and you will see the Wink of Stella coming down into the barrel. That's primed, that's it. So I've already primed this. So now what I'm going to do is just flick this all over. So if it's not wet enough to flick, then you may need to squeeze that again. But yeah, look, there's plenty. And I'm just flicking the bristles of the brush against the lid. So I'll show you. I really like doing this. It just adds something, and it doesn't matter if it goes over the green. And sometimes you get big droplets, sometimes you get smaller droplets. But yep, once you've done it a few times, you'll know what you like. And that's it. It's done. So that will need a couple of minutes to dry. So I'm going to make a bow. So even though that is Pear Pizzazz, I have this beautiful twill ribbon in Old Olive. Now, we stamped the greeting in Old Olive, so we're good. We've tied it in with something. And I just basically, and this was tricky because I just folded this like I was going to make a bow, and then tied this brand new 3-twine combo pack. Oh my gosh, this is also in the new mini catalogue, and it has Coastal Cabana, Garden Green, and Pumpkin Pie. Now, Pumpkin Pie is not any of those colours, but it kind of goes with them. So yeah, so this is how I made the bow. Okay, now you can tie a normal bow, but I just thought it might have been just a bit too bulky. I hope you don't mind the music, but yeah, that's to take your mind off the kids next door. I don't think it's working though. Okay, so I've just made this sort of like squiggly S-bend thing, and I'm just going to get my tweezers. Now, if you buy the embossing buddy pack, you will get a set of tweezers that are like this. They're called reverse tweezers. They're holding on to that. But I've had these for years, so I'm just using these at the moment. Now, that holds that for me. So now I need to get my twine, and I just want to wrap it around. I hope this is in camera. I hope you're picking this up. So I just tied one, like a single knot, just like that. Just a single knot like that. I always do this back to front or upside down. And because, you know, I'm on camera, of course it's going to look weird. Right, so now I've pulled that tight, I am actually going to hold that as well. So I'm holding the pumpkin pie twine as well now. So I'm just going to do this kind of bow. Normally I do rabbit ears, but these kind of, I think I have to do it upside down because, yeah, it always turns out when I do it upside down. I don't know why. There we go. Okay, now I'm just going to pull that one there, pull that one there. I don't want the orange one as big as the green one but you can fiddle around with that as you go. Now I'm going to pull that tight and release my tweezers, and there we go. Now I wanted it to be a bit not so heavy looking, so I just got my Take Your Pick, and yes, I have it today, and I just went just very gently from the bottom up, and I just teased those threads out. Now if you try to do it all the way from the top, you're just going to end up knotting it, so you're better off to do small little sections at a time, just until you get it all frayed out. And to be honest, I like it. I think it looks really nice. Looks different anyway. So there we go. And just do the other one. So just little small sections at a time. That's all you need to do. And once it starts to come untangled, it is a bit easier. So there we go. Now I hope you all had a really lovely Christmas. I hope you had a peaceful time. If you don't celebrate Christmas, I hope you were able to spend some time with your family or your friends, and I hope that you had a bit of a rest. It's always good to have a bit of a rest at the end of the year and start fresh in the new year. And gosh, one last little bit. There we go. Now obviously it's a bit long, so I'm going to be trimming that, but I wanted to show you how I did that. Now I'm just going to trim these edges. And how did I do that? I just did it like that, just like that. Got two little pieces that are wastage, and let's start putting this together. Just get all this stuff out of the way, and we will put it together. So now that's stuck on, hopefully that's dry. I'm going to use some dimensionals. I'm going to use some mini ones and some big ones. I'm going to put my bow on first because I need to put the dimensionals around the bow. So, glue dot, and I always take the bow to the glue dot. There's the glue dot there. Stick it into the glue dot, give it a really good press, and just peel that off. Now if you can't get that off, this is where your Take Your Pick comes in really handy. I'm just teasing that away from there. These things are so sticky. Right, there we go. Now I'm going to put it up there in this corner here, just like that, just like so. I'm going to have those coming down like that. And I'm going to put some dimensionals on the back of this. Now, I need one here, and it's a big one there. I need another big one there. And I'm going to put a couple of little ones. Now, I like to cut them in half, and then I've always got a couple of little ones all ready to go. So one in the bottom of the word friend. And sometimes they are tricky to place. So we'll put one there, we'll put another one here, because it's going to be out on its own. And I'm going to put another small one there, and then I'll put a normal one there. Oops, if I can pick it up. Just going to pop that there. Okay, now the quickest way to get these things off is to stab them. Stab them and pick them up straight in the bin. trickier when they're this small though. So you might have to do it the old-fashioned way. Oops, missed it. Right, there we go. Now this point is going in the corner of the bow, and I want my twine to go down in between. So yeah, that's a bit tricky. So there we go. I'll put that like that. Just make sure it's straight. There we go. And I will trim that off just a smidge. Trim those ones off. Trim these ones off just a little smidge. Actually, I don't even think I will. And there we have it. I'm just going to glue that straight onto our card base now. Make sure your card base is opening that way. Again, because this is all lumpy and bumpy, we're going to use some liquid glue. And the first card for 2023 is done. Just going to pop that on there. There is a bit of a border all the way around, and I think that's a really cute little card. No designer series paper in sight, and yet there is some designer series paper right there. Now you could add some jewels to that if you wanted to. These are my favourites at the moment. These go with absolutely everything. I don't think it needs it. It's got the Wink of Stella. I hope you guys can pick that up. But anyway, failing that, you could always put some jewels on that. I love this thing. I love the texture of this basket. That's my new favourite. But anyway, I'm looking forward to a really great year this year, and I wish the same for everybody. And thank you for giving me your time in the last 12 months or more. And I've really enjoyed making the videos, and it's what I love to do. Card making is an absolute passion of mine. I'm sorry, but I could go on ad nauseum and ask my friends, they'll tell you I do. But that's the reason why, because it's such a beautiful, relaxing hobby, and you end up with something that you can share at the end of it. And it's always lovely to be thinking of others. So again, my host code till the 4th of January. That's when this phase ends. On the 5th of January, the new phase with the new mini catalogue starts. This particular stamp set, all of these things are in either the new mini catalogue or the current annual catalogue. My website there, my name is there, and my email is there if you need to contact me for anything at all. And I will be going through the new catalogue in the next, when it's released. I will go through page by page and show you, and yeah, you can have a bit of a sneaky peek. But up until that time, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for your time. Bye.